Happy New Year, fellow social workers, mental health professionals, and change agents. Welcome to year six, season 12 of the Social Work Rants podcast. Let's go. Welcome to season 12 of the Social Work Rants podcast, providing an inside look of the social work mental health profession, social work being political, the struggles of social work entrepreneurship, the intersectionality of mental health and finances as it relates to social work and society as a whole. Let's get it. Hope you enjoy. Hello, social workers, mental health professionals, and change agents. Welcome to another episode of the Social Work Rants podcast. I'm your host, Bash Moreno. Saludos a todos. Greetings, everybody. Thank you for tuning in, tapping in wherever you are watching or listening to this podcast. I appreciate the love and support. Gracias a todos por su apoyo. If you ever thought about working in a ER in the hospital, well, this episode is for you. But before we get started, shout out to everybody that's been, supporting the podcast along. And holidays are here. Hope you have a good holidays. I'll still record all the way through the to the new year, and then start, year six and a new season in the new year. So uh, keep trucking along. So I guess at this time actually works at an ER in the hospital. Shout out to Natalie. How you doing?
Hi, thanks for having me.
No problem. Natalie's a LCSW working in the hospital, and we talk all things ER as much as she's willing to share. So for those who don't know who you are, what you do, let people know what you do in the social work space.
Sure. So my name is Natalie. I'm a licensed clinical social worker in New York on Long Island. I've been in the field for 13 years, but I've been working in the ER for the past 7. I work for a large state hospital system, and we are a level 1 trauma center. So we really see everything, worst of the worst.
Mm.
So it's definitely fast-paced, interesting, very unpredictable. So that's really the ER. Just you really going into work, you really never know what you're walking into or what's going to come through the doors.
I could see some good into that because the job is not boring, but I could see a lot of anxiety.
Yeah.
What has it been like for you?
Yeah, I mean, I actually am in a unique role. I actually work overnight. So I
Mm,
work 8 at night until 6 in the morning, which is pretty unique for social workers. You don't hear of that often. But I feel like it is becoming more common for social workers to be in hospitals overnight, or for, emergency mental health clinics to have workers overnight. Um, and it's great that the hospital sees that, the need for our services doesn't just end at 5 o'clock. Like it's needed,
mm,
especially in the ER. You can have, a child abuse case at 3 o'clock in the afternoon or 3 o'clock in the morning.
mm,
And that calls, for the need of a social worker. But yeah, I mean, in the ER, we see everything. I mean, housing, child and elder abuse, domestic violence, mental health, substance abuse, trauma support, grief. Um, so yeah, we really touch on everything.
mm. So the last 7 years, so that leads me to definitely dream working in pandemic.
Yep.
How was that experience like for you?
It was definitely crazy, for sure. Scary at times, especially, trying to provide support to patients and families who are coming in there scared too, not wanting to bring, their children into the ER and to expose them. So the social workers in the emergency room, we still had to come in every day.
Mm,
The social workers actually on the inpatient unit of our hospital actually did like a rotation of working from home. But we were really like out there still on the front lines needing to be in the ER. Um, it was a great learning experience for sure. Definitely eye opening. But yeah, I think that's like the one thing I can like take from the pandemic is just like providing support to I think like families who like weren't able to be with their loved one in the ER, getting frantic phone calls,
Mm,
worried about their loved one wanting to get updates, or, if there was like a child who was very sick, only having like one parent there as opposed to both.
mm.
So kind of like helping the team like navigate and provide supports to families like in those situations. That was definitely, really difficult.
What was, and I'm gonna ask this question, you just
Mhm.
be, you know, as comfortable you're willing to share.
Sure.
Um, Now, was the hospital or supervisors like supportive of the staff during that time? I'm sure there was a lot of vicarious trauma that taking effect. Like how, like, was there any like debriefings? Like what was that like for you during that time?
Uh, yeah, I mean, we definitely have like supportive like supervisors, and they would check in on us. I think, working in the ER, like we were all coming there every day, so we had like a
Mm-hmm.
support system within each other. Um, and we really like relied on each other, vented to each other. So I think that was like the most important thing is like leaning on your coworkers.
And and obviously very important because you're all going through the same
Hmm.
experience at the same time
Yeah.
in real time, and obviously on top of work, there's those life after work, you know
Yeah.
how was like life after work during pandemic like for you?
Um, more relaxed, I think.
Mm,
Once things died down. I think there was like, especially over the last like, year and a half, 2 years, let's say, yeah, it definitely feels like a little bit lighter. Um, not having to, worry about like the PPE and the masks and like the visitor restrictions. I think the visitor restrictions was really hard on us because, when you have upset family members, that's um, goes into social work territory. We're there to
yeah.
provide support to them and that. Um, so it's nice for patients to be able to have, a child to have two parents to come back, or,
Hmm.
for, someone to have like visitors freely come in and out. If they're going through something that's important, to have that support.
What advice would you give someone who's like, say, MS, no, regular MSW, who's an MSW student or like newly into the field, and give advice to someone who's thinking about going into working in the hospital, especially the ER?
I would say you're probably going to be uncomfortable for, I would say at least a year. I would say I didn't feel comfortable for like a year or two. You're going to see things and be put in situations you've never seen before. I think the ER is a very unique place for social workers. Like I said, we're seeing the worst of the worst traumas. We're hand holding families, during the scariest moments of their life as they're losing loved ones tragically and unexpectedly. Um, working with children who have just, unimaginable, abuse and neglect. So that's what I would give them advice is give yourself grace and like sit with being uncomfortable and take as much advice as you can from your supervisors and other coworkers and just kind of like make sure you have someone to like debrief these really tough cases with so that you can like learn for the future because obviously we all make mistakes. I mean, even I've been there for 7 years, there's always cases, that come to me where I'm like, wow, I've never seen this before. There's always
Hmm.
to be something where it's like, wow, I can learn from this, or I can, talk to someone about this and maybe like they, have a different idea, or maybe they have like a different um, thought on how we can help this person. So that would be my advice.
No, that's good info. Now since Agent Orange uh started this craziness
Hmm.
in January,
Hmm.
have you seen like anything in terms of like ICE trying to go to the hospital or like anything related to like immigration situations or things like that?
No, no direct experience with ICE, but we do have. We are a state hospital, so there is a high population of patients who are undocumented,
Mm,
which we see, help them, get emergency Medicaid, help them get outpatient follow up. But I do notice talking to them, they may be resistive to giving us information because they're fearful, um, or, they're even nervous just coming to the hospital because, they're scared to give their name or they're scared they're going to be found. So I have seen that fear from patients, definitely more so in the last couple of months.
mm,
Um, but I provide support to them, and obviously make them feel safe, let them know it's a safe place, and just we want their information because we want them to get the follow up that they need. If they don't
mm,
um, insurance, we want to be able to connect them with a clinic where they can see a doctor or they can get a CAT scan or um, so yeah, that's been tough. Um, patients being like skeptical of how we're trying to help.
no, I definitely get that. I work at a hospital myself, and I definitely
Mhm.
saw like a drop off of
Yeah.
parents coming in bringing in their kids for physicals, those who are undocumented, and so I definitely saw like a downtick in terms of people coming into the
Mhm.
office, and
Mhm.
I was being scared and stuff like that. So it's definitely seeing, and myself are kind of like almost having like anticipate the anticipation of grief of families who potentially losing their Medicaid in the new year, and how that would uh,
Mhm.
affect now the hospital in terms of like business, and then that
Mhm.
trickle down effect. So I don't know if you're having those type of feelings or like talking about with your coworkers about that.
Yeah, definitely. So, I work for a state hospital system, so we do have a financial aid program for those who are undocumented and uninsured. But there's definitely like has been an increase in like our referrals for like patients who are uninsured or undocumented, like needing that outpatient follow up. And I know that's just going to increase more in the coming months. So yeah, that's definitely a concern that our clinics are going to get like inundated, um with all these patients that need care and they're losing their insurance. Um so yeah, it's definitely going to be a big change, and I'm nervous to see like how it will be in the coming months.
Mm. Um, I can't even imagine myself working from 8 p.m. to 6 in the morning. Like, how was that schedule like for you?
So I've been doing it like for 7 years.
Wow.
I like working overnight. It's definitely not for everyone.
Mm,
I chose to work that schedule because I have young children. So
mm,
for this phase of my life, it works for me. I don't want to do it forever. Um, but it is unique working in the middle of the night. Um, there's less resources. It's tougher to get patients who are just like a treat and release from the emergency room, like the services that they need. Like a lot of time we'll have to, hold them until the morning, until,
mm.
the rest of the world wakes up.
Right.
Um, but for now, it's good. It's not a lot of sleep and a lot of caffeine, but I'm getting by.
Gotcha. Which leads to like, what do you do for self-care?
Huh. Um, I don't know. Right now I'm training for a half marathon. Um,
Oh, nice.
so yeah, it's in the spring in Brooklyn. So I'm trying to like on my days off, take that time like away from work, away from the house, away from the kids to do that.
Hmm.
That's something like I do for myself. Um, and it's also nice too because I work overnights. I do 4 10-hour shifts, so I have 3 days off a week,
Hmm.
which is also a benefit. You have that extra day off.
Gotcha. That that's like the beauty of social work. You just gotta somehow just make it work.
Yeah,
Or
yeah,
know,
hmm
with kids and just
yeah,
it's every day is a different day, and
hmm
you just never know what you're gonna expect if you have that type of job that just coming in and just Trump did this and just the trickle down effect leads
yeah,
to
hmm
patients and clients and stuff. So it's a interesting time to be a social worker and be in the front lines.
yeah,
And on top of like the aftermath of pandemic and everything else. So it's
hmm
interesting to say the least.
yeah. No, it definitely is.
Oh, oh man. That's one of the things like I've thought about working in a hospital setting, and even though I work in the hospital system, is not no, I still work eight to 4:30, so
Mhm.
I able to still podcast and do
Yeah.
things,
hmm
try to
hmm
do stuff, my business and things like that. So
Yeah.
it's like um I don't know, and then I think I'm too old to try to even start
Nah.
hospital. My body's breaking down to be like standing around and like
Yeah. No. Not
walking around.
old. Age is just a number.
Well, my body's telling me
Yeah.
otherwise. um, it is. What what is like something that you saw is like I'm I'm always gonna remember that. Like that's like my one story that I'm gonna tell like friends who are not social workers or because I've gotten stories and I've like either myself I'd be like, then that client really said that like I really like experienced this and so like what was it like something
Um,
for you?
I don't know if I could pinpoint one thing just because there are so many traumas,
Hmm.
deaths, abuse cases on, a daily to weekly basis. Um, I will say, like, when I first started, like, I remember the first child that I witnessed die. It was actually Christmas Eve morning.
Oh man.
Yeah, and it was a car accident. And I remember that was like the first time I was, just so devastated. Um, just, witnessing the family's reaction. Um, because, when a patient dies in the ER, we assist the doctor with informing the family.
Mm,
So I think though that's probably the hardest part of the job, or like something that really sticks with me is like being in that moment with families when they find out, their loved one has tragically or unexpectedly passed away. Like, you could just remember like the look on their face or what they did or what they said. Um, and it really does carry with you sometimes. And
mm,
I think, you know, we're so used to seeing these things, these horrible things on such a daily basis that sometimes like I'll just stop and be like, wow, like I just witnessed so much. Like I just witnessed like the worst day of someone's life. And that's kind of like our role as an ER social worker. Like you're going into work helping people through the scariest and like worst days of their life.
mm, mm,
Um, And yeah, you definitely get numb to it. You definitely, grow like tough skin, as they say. But yeah, I think when you like stop and think about like how horrific some of the things like you witness and work with, um,
Mm,
it's really crazy. That's why I really feel like all social workers need to be in therapy themselves to, process what they see.
I I could definitely attest
Mhm.
to that because you're some if for me it's like you don't go somehow somewhere down the line your body's gonna do something that's like all right like that's it like I you gotta do the therapy so
Yeah.
because that's a lot of trauma you see and it's like vicarious trauma then you bringing that home and
Hmm.
you might not have a home life to be able to process that properly like you should so it's uh, it's a lot because it's just life life is life and sometimes like you said you got kids I got kids of my own and like
Hmm.
kids are going to do something and it's like there's no there's no a lot of time to be processing something you might just experience that you need like at least a day a whole day to process something
Yeah.
something you just saw that like you need to tell somebody talk through something that's not just your supervisor like you need like your own support system to like yeah, just what happened at work and like I don't know like sometimes you just feel helpless sometimes it's just like I can't believe I just like
Yeah.
witnessed that or I had multiple deaths
Yeah.
during COVID so it was like
Hmm.
it's a wild a wild time and just it just continues like it just you say it doesn't stop.
Hmm. Yeah. Absolutely.
Go to therapy. Definitely go to
Yes.
therapy.
Everyone should be. It's it's very important. I'm a
No, sir.
for that.
No, seriously. Um, highlights of 2025 for you.
What was that?
What what were some of your highlights, if any, of 2025?
Um, in terms of work,
Anything. They don't have to be work.
uh, well, I gave birth to my daughter in early 2025.
Oh, congrats.
Thank you. Thank you. So she's almost a year. Um, that was like the highlight. And then I was, on maternity leave for 6 months, which was really nice. So I've actually like just the last couple months been back at work and like getting into the swing of things.
How, how is that being? And then still doing the 8 to 6
When I came back,
schedule? Yeah.
yeah, yeah, I came back to overnights. Yeah. Hmm.
So how was that like, giving birth, like your during the 6 months, and then you like how your body, like how was all that getting adjusted back to?
Um, Honestly, I think I'm so used to it by now. It's been 7 years, so it's kind of like second nature. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's definitely nights where like 4 o'clock in the morning comes and I was like, oh, I'm like, I am not going to make it. Um, there's definitely, those nights. Um, no, but it's really not as bad as people think.
Hmm.
You kind of just like do it, and especially with like the adrenaline, especially if it's like a really busy night in the ER, like the adrenaline really does like keep you up and get you going.
I gotcha. Well, that was interesting. And I reason I like I asked the question like that because I know like I was watching a podcast um called what was it called? Up in Smoke. So they
Mhm.
had uh WNBA all-time great Candace Parker, and they asked her like,
Mhm.
because she was talking, giving the story of how she gave birth, and
Mhm.
like literally, like as soon as she gave birth, like she was like training to get back during the season. Like she just
Oh
had the
yeah.
baby, and
Mhm.
like and they asked her like how was that training like for you, and that
Mhm.
she was training while she was pregnant, and like just
Oh,
and
wow.
like came back like like nothing. I was like, wow. um, any goals for 2026?
Um, well, I said, like I was telling you, I'm doing a half marathon, so it's like a personal goal of mine. I don't have like a time, I just want to finish. Um, um, I think I need to like definitely prioritize more self-care in the new year.
Yeah, yeah, I think you should.
Yeah.
From one social worker to another, because like
Yeah, that's
the
definitely,
new, just as a native New Yorker,
yeah.
it don't sleep. It don't matter even if you're Long Island, wherever you're at. It's just the
Yeah.
whole New York State is like there's
Yeah. Go, go, go.
something's always happening.
Yes.
So yeah, definitely. Good luck with that marathon, that half marathon. I
Thank
can't.
you.
Oof. It's, uh, uh, you know, and yeah, continue. Best of wishes at the job, and like
Thank you.
one day at a time. Give yourself grace, and
Hmm.
just uh, definitely don't be scared if you want to do hospital social work. The worst thing you could do, worst thing can happen. Be like, this is not for me, and then you
Right.
you find something else. So
Yeah. I mean, I started my career in with geriatrics in a nursing home,
mm,
which, I would recommend that too to, anyone just starting out in the field. I did that for 7 years before I went to the ER. And it's a really good, like, if you're interested in healthcare, I think it's a really good, like, segue into getting into healthcare. It kind of like forms your foundation. You get the basics down, you get comfortable with things, but it's not, somewhere I wanted to be forever.
no, that
Hmm.
geriatrics they're a handful too. You
Yeah.
get surprised.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then you're dealing with family members, dealing with
Yes.
like,
Hmm.
and some family members are like just don't care, even though they're like the healthcare proxy, and
Yeah,
it's it's wild.
it is. It definitely is.
Awesome. Thanks, Natalie, for coming on.
Yes. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely.
All right. Take care. Bye.